Hello and welcome back to Blank Explain to You. My name is Wes.
I'm Drew.
And we have a very, very special guest. Our used to be most person we made fun of the most on the podcast.
That's true.
And also the only person ever listened to our podcast. We got Nate. Nate, what's up?
Hey.
Nate told me in the car he was really worried about the intro and how he's going to introduce himself. So
That's true.
I really thought you were going to introduce him as our used to be good friend, Nate. And I was like, yikes.
That would be toxic.
did he used to be our good friend?
Without your knowledge.
Wait, where was I with that? What?
It was like, what did it used to be? What did you just say? Oh,
Used to be
the guy who made fun of the most or something.
Well, I was trying to say used to be the guy who actually listened to the podcast.
Yeah.
And then I was like, let's just say, because we used to roast. I feel like we do roast you sometimes, Nate.
All the time.
Yeah, all the time.
All right,
All the time.
we got a special episode today. We're gonna talk a little bit more about like how we have gotten ourselves into our certain careers we're in. First, though, Nate, how do we know you? What do we know you from?
Shoot. I think we first met. Actually, funny story. We first met in the 10 Ways to Survive a Zombie Apocalypse. Wes, I don't know if anyone knows this, but Wes is actually the best zombie impersonator I've ever seen.
Exactly.
He taught everyone how to walk with a little limp ankle. So that was the peak of Wes's theater
Career?
productions.
Yes, 100%.
So we did that. That was in what, 6th grade?
I don't know.
So
I was like, I was like 12, 11.
No. I moved here in 2015. It would have been 2016.
Yeah. I was like 13, 12, 13.
Yeah, we were young.
You were like 9.
Get out of here. I was 10.
Oh, my bad. Dude, he got a bigger part than me, and he was like 6 years younger than me.
Oh, yeah,
terrible.
Main
Narrator,
character.
and he messed it up at the state competition.
Yep.
So-
It wasn't my fault. It was
Don't,
my
first
my,
and last.
It was, yeah, it was my
First and last.
it was my fellow narrator's
Yeah,
fault.
it was good.
It was
good
not
job.
my fault.
That's
I don't want
where-
to call her out.
That's where we first met, but we weren't actually like, I don't know.
I feel like we weren't close until like shoot.
Work in
Work in
progress.
progress.
Probably yeah.
We weren't, yeah. I don't know how you met Drew though.
Work
Was
in
it
progress.
work in progress?
Yeah, it was. Well, I feel like I've heard of Drew before. Like I feel like I've known of Drew,
well
but then
known.
like Work in Progress. I actually got conned into Work in Progress.
Yeah.
Yes.
and
Everyone
it
who was in
like-
that did.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of us.
I was conned in, and I don't know if anyone remembers if they were an OG podcast listener, but the part that everyone talked about, everyone's favorite part that stole the show, that was my part.
Aaron?
It was,
That-
was
we based
written in.
the character. The worst character was based on you.
He wasn't. Yeah, okay, slow down. He was not based on me. He was not.
Nate got the pity character that we wrote after audition, so he
And that
didn't
took the
say
that
no.
took
But
the
then
shot.
became the
We
main
said,
character.
hold on. We had 11 people audition. We have 10 parts. We should just write one more
Oh,
part.
that's so bad. And it was great. Took
I mean,
the show.
that's like the central part of the show that actually
Yeah.
made the show the show.
Yeah.
So.
It would have been a lot less interesting. No offense.
Yeah. Oh.
But
You know we're actually doing that again.
A Work in Progress?
Yeah, next June.
Are you taking out my part, or am I still on it?
I just got approved to do it again.
you got to audition again. So
When is it? Next June?
Yeah, June 20.
Like this upcoming June?
Yeah, 24.
Oh,
I'm just telling you about it. It's cool.
shoot. Okay.
So I want the OG cast to like come watch it. You know what I mean? 'Cause that'd be fun.
Oh, so we're not allowed to be in it.
You could be in it, or you can come watch it. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So I'm not gonna sit here and say,
That's
yeah, audition again, because did you got.
audition
I got
again.
a life, liberty, pursuit of happiness.
So yeah, we're doing it again, which I think I've told the viewers before. But yeah, that's where I feel we became boys. You know,
Yeah.
What
we were
weekend
friends.
is it in June?
Third weekend of June, I think.
Okay, it's like the 21st.
Yeah,
second and third
somewhere in
maybe.
there. You know this, Drew.
Huh?
Don't say like, oh, we're going to Florida that weekend, or something
No,
crazy.
no. I'm giving an actual date. So if you want to actually see our show, we know what dates they are.
Yeah. And we're rewriting it. I'm rewriting it. This big,
Gotta keep my part in.
big twist with Tyler and Katie. They're
And Dan.
Yeah. I'm
Are
giving
we,
the,
making, are we making them more likable?
yeah.
Yeah, and Danny is relevant, and
No, I'm making the irrelevant characters relevant. So,
That's
anyways,
There's
that's
more
where we
than
met
two
with
parts
friends,
in this show.
and then like we were like hung out a few times. I don't know. I feel like we didn't like.
I
I
feel
don't
like it
even
was
know
after
when-
the show.
when
I
did
feel
we
like after the
actually-
show, we started hanging out.
and
then
we
went,
hung out the one night, the Friday night of the show.
Yeah.
We hung out, and then when we moved to PG, we hung out.
Okay,
That was it. Like a couple times at BG, and then like other
In the
stuff
past,
too,
I feel like it's kind
eventually,
of become more frequently. And then we worked together for a while. Me and Nate worked the same job for a while.
That was fun.
Well, not the same job, just the same company.
Same company.
This past
He
summer.
actually worked for me. I'd break
I'm pretty
something
sure
and,
Nate
and I would call him to come fix
called
it.
me like 100 times. And
Yeah, but he worked for me.
that's true. I did come to fix stuff. That was funny, bro. Getting
was a
called
good
up by
time.
Nate all the time.
Good time.
And then Nate. No, I can't say that on the podcast. Actually, okay. That is. I can't. I'll get in trouble. So. Then. Yeah. So we're boys. We're friends. That's how we know Nate. Nate's cool. Met him through theater and stuff, and then through you like did work in progress because of like Sawyer baked
Yep.
you two or whatever. And so that's how we kind of became friends. So you're current for a while there. So we're gonna talk about jobs, right? I do IT, Drew's in law enforcement. Nate is in.
Oh, you want me to choose
Yeah.
myself first?
Preschool.
Yeah, so
Preschool.
I am I work at a child care center that's connected to a church, and I do preschool stuff. So my technical like term is I'm like a floater, so I float between classrooms as like a teacher aide, and do like preschools in the morning, and then I run an after school program for any school age kids from ages like I think it's kindergarten to like 16, but technically we only have like 13-year-old is our oldest.
Right.
Because if they're 16, they're like pushing my age, and it's like kind of awkward.
And like you should just stay home if you're 15 or
Yeah, that's what I'm
16.
saying. Well, shoot, I was staying home when I was 11.
Yeah.
Right. So like at some level,
Yeah.
I think it's different because I had older siblings.
Even
So-
if you're by yourself, like I think like 13 depends on your kid, but I think like 13 years old, if it's just you should be fine.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Depends
30
on where
years
you
old.
go.
But I
and
also feel like
stuff,
it's. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's very independent
Like,
to the
okay,
kid. Because I've
if-
met some 13-year-olds that are
Oh yeah, no, there's some dumb kids.
like terrible.
Like me at 13, if my mom's going to Walmart, like, yeah, leave me home. You'll be back.
Shoot, I think
in a
at 8
couple
years
hours,
old, I
you
could
know?
have fended for myself. That's pretty responsible.
Dude,
8-year-old.
7 years old, you've been fine.
That's what I'm thinking.
Give
4.
me some cereal.
If I'm potty trained, I'm cool.
Dude, if I'm not, I'm cool.
If I can't unlock
Change
the
Still
door,
not.
diapers.
oh,
Still
well.
not potty trained. So how did you choose that, Nate? How did you go that way?
So yeah, so I guess life took me for a couple different turns. I first started my college journey. So I guess I'm a junior in college. So I started my first year in early childhood education, and thought I wanted to be like because I knew I liked working with kids and doing those things, but I pretty much got out of it because I realized all the standards and criteria and all this stuff. I felt like I was just like I felt like I was teaching something that didn't really matter. Like I felt like I was teaching like who really cares about their third grade math teacher or
Right.
whatever. Like I felt like that wasn't something I was passionate about, and so I felt like I was only passionate about the kids. I wasn't passionate about the work, and I didn't want to pursue a career where I was gonna feel like that. So I completely changed to business management, and did a year of college in business management, and thought I would love it, and kind of was like, I'll make a whole bunch of money, and like that's what's gonna lead me to a abundant life, and I was just gonna like provide for my family and call it what it is, and so I did that, and I went to a job over the summer where I was an intern / like office. Associate, I don't know what you would call it. Kind of like think of like a secretary that runs reports and does all these things, but very glorified secretary, where I'd get to go into cool meetings and stuff. So that's how they made me feel good. And don't get me wrong, I loved it and I appreciate the opportunity, but I felt like that wasn't where I was being called. I felt like there wasn't there wasn't much more than making money. So I'd go there and I'd work 40 hours a week, and I'd get a paycheck and go home and be miserable.
Yeah.
And I sat at an office all day, and I love talking to people. I love interacting with people. And I sat at a computer and called Wes when it broke. So, which it broke often.
Very much.
So it's like things like that.
Brand new computer, by the way, that I
Right,
put
yeah.
in before we started.
Yeah, I'm not convinced, but oh well. So I did that, and then long story short, I decided that I wanted to pursue something a little more fulfilling. So I decided I was going to go into children's ministry. I did that after a mission trip in Honduras. It was my second time in Honduras, and I just kind of realized that there's so much more to life than money and business and like all that stuff. So I decided that I was going to go into children's ministry, which means that after school I'll get my master's in theology to lead me down that road. To be like either a children's pastor, youth pastor, family pastor, something like that. But
absolutely,
we'll see where that takes me.
It's definitely an interesting thing, just coming from like a friend who like worked with you closely over the summer. You know what I mean? So I spent a decent amount of time with you, and we would golf like we golf together, and we have some friends we golf with. Nate and I are terrible teammates, by the way.
Yeah,
so
so
yell at each other
also,
the
if you
whole
ever
time.
golf with them, like 9 holes should take you maybe 2 hours, maybe. It would take us like 4 hours and 18 minutes to get through 9 holes with the two of them on the same team.
But
We talked too much, but it was good.
And
It's
you
good.
get like
Well,
18 strokes a hole. So
that's my Weaver. Dude,
You
we
were
won.
good.
never
We were-
beat me and Bryce.
Didn't we tie like
I
every
think
time?
we putted off every time, and I'm sorry, I'm terrible with a putter.
Anyways,
Anyway,
what I was gonna say, and I feel like we had a lot of conversation. I remember you not struggling, but kind of having that thought of like, man, do I want to go into a career where I'm focused on the money and all this stuff, which is, you know, a fine career because providing for your family, and that's good. And it was kind of cool to see after you got back from that trip. I feel like your mindset was completely convinced that like, no, there's like a calling for me in like youth ministry or whatever, and that was kind of good to see and good for me and in my faith. I don't know, something about it was kind of I don't know, just inspiring almost of like, you know, God will find his way for you, which is cool. I don't know. I think you're in the right. And well, even our boss, a friend of our boss, but it's always said like, just you wait, one day Nate's gonna be in a youth pastor, and so
He
it's
knew
kind of
it.
funny. Yeah,
And I think that to go off that, I think that one of the best things you can do is figure out what's calling your heart. And I think that once you find that, I think God will provide, and whether that be he provides a rich wife, which that's my plan right now. But so like whatever happens, right? So I think that things will work out, and obviously I'm not going into a career for the money anymore, because I don't think any amount of money would satisfy like my heart if that's all I'm going for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
and there's something special about that sort of career, you know, and
I mean, for sure, watching the development of spirituality is one of the coolest things I think that we can witness.
absolutely. And I think since you mentioned your girlfriend, it's another thing that I feel is interesting that you and I have in common. Actually, is Drew hates it. That's not what I'm saying at all. The we have in common of like we both have been dating my wife and your girlfriend, right, since like early on in high school.
Yep.
And that sort of longer relationship from high school to college to, for me, like after college now, is super interesting and very unique. I feel like, because you're completely different than you're in high school and in college and all this stuff. So it's super interesting seeing you have like the same experiences that I have had and am having, you know. And I don't know, something about the way that you handle your relationship is something I have a lot of respect for as well. And it helps me, who's in a similar situation, you know, like, all right, are my priorities right? You know, am I focusing on my relationship and with God?
Of course.
And all these things is something that I've had the pleasure of seeing you do, and just kind of led me on that same, I don't know, just a similar path, I guess. And it's just kind of cool to see that you've had I don't know, just like a cool little thing, I guess. But I don't know if I've ever said that to you.
No,
or
yeah,
not.
no, and I appreciate you telling me that. I think that one of the things you were saying was when you grow up with someone. I mean, I was in eighth. Or actually, I'll bump back. I was in 6th grade. Where I asked her to be my girlfriend. She said no.
Oh,
So, I know, terrible. And so then I had my little go crazy phase. Had a bunch of women at my doorstep.
absolutely.
As,
6th grade,
as they
dude.
should, you know,
6th,
seventh grade,
That's
all these girlfriends.
Absolutely.
And then 8th grade, I bounced back and asked my girlfriend again. She said yes. So we've been dating for now, I think 5 years and like 8 months or something. And that's been, oh shoot, she gonna beat me up for saying that. 5 years and 7 months. Something along, the months don't matter. I say 6 years. So we've been dating for a long time. Come on.
Absolutely.
We've been dating for a long time. And just to say that I'm grateful for the support system that I have is definitely an understatement. I think there's something to say about, like, I mean, I've told her a million times that I went from a teacher to then a businessman to now a pastor to, hey, I want to go get this tattoo, or I want to go do this, or I want to go make this bad decision, or I want to go do this. And I mean, she's been there, she's been supportive. And I mean, to say the least, I mean, you do something dumb and then you hit rock bottom and you look back up and she's standing there and saying, hey, I'm still with you. You know what I'm saying? So I think you've had the similar experience where, obviously you married her, and that's in the books, but, I think that having that support system makes traversing, all the crazy decisions about careers, especially careers, a little easier.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. And yeah, I guess you guys have been dating for a long time, like all the way since 8th grade. It's longer than me, but
it's pretty crazy.
That's cool. Sure. It's just an interesting thing that not a lot of people experience, so it's interesting.
Yeah, I was ugly back then too. So
dude, that's how you know.
She's been cute the whole time, but I was ugly.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. If she picked us when we were ugly, come on,
dude.
If we were ugly back then, we're only glowing up.
Maybe you're glowing up. I don't know. I'm starting to get the No, they say the freshman 15. Think about like first year marriage 50. And I'm gaining. So Drew,
long-term investment.
What about you? Your career. I feel like you've always not always, but I think it's interesting about you because I feel like I've always felt like I don't know. When you finally came to the decision to go like down criminal justice, I feel like I was like, yeah. What the heck? Why was that never ever in the conversation? You know what I mean? Like, it just felt like a good fit for you. So what led you from that? Because you had a similar experience as Nate with the business stuff.
So let's see. I didn't really know a whole lot of what I wanted to do. I had a lot of ideas, I guess, but they were things when I was like 10, like I want to be an actor or soccer player, etc. And like, fake jobs that you shouldn't try and go to college for.
Dang.
Wow.
Don't be creative.
Anyway.
Yeah, throw shade at all the actors.
I will. So my mom told me, like, hey, you're going to college after high school. And I just didn't have plans. Like, I wasn't like, no, I don't want to, but I didn't apply to any schools or anything. So, like, my junior-ish year comes along. Your brother, John, said, hey, let's go to BG because that'd be fun. Like, whatever. Apply to BG. You're supposed to live together. He went to OSU, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. Mom was like, go for business management. You'll be good at it. You'll find a job doing business. You work with people, and just go for that. I said, okay.
It's a lie.
So, which is so weird how unopinionated I was and how much I didn't care. Like, I wanted to own a hotel someday.
Whoa.
You still should, bro. I want you to do that.
But I was like, yeah, like
Hadley Hotel?
I don't know. I'd
That's
kind of
something
better than that.
What?
Andy's
like
Resort?
Motel 7. So, that was kind of like a loose goal. It'd be kind of interesting, but it wasn't like I don't know. But as I took a couple classes, and then I went to orientation at Bowling Green, and I'd like gotten into some research in hotels and stuff, and I was just aware of like the issue of human trafficking and how that's prominent in hotels, and like they have training and stuff on that. But I was like, that's a much bigger problem than some hotel management training, right? So I was like, well, I'm going to do something about that.
Yeah.
I went to orientation like maybe 2 days later. And they're like, you want to be a business major? I said, nope.
No shot.
Put me in criminal justice. So switched over to that and then fell in love with it. Just made a lot of sense. It took some convincing to people who were close to tell them I'm going to be a cop instead of a hotel manager. But kind of explored different things in that. I mean, I looked for something that dealt more with human trafficking than I do as a sheriff's deputy. But the real truth is, like, nothing really happens. So
yeah.
You can find coalitions and stuff that'll do stuff, but, like, CIA's not out here doing anything, so call it CIA. It's just it's a much bigger problem than something that
it's something
a single agency has jurisdiction to do, etc. We don't need to get into it. But was kind of discouraged by that. Decided to go be a sheriff's deputy, work with people, and help at a local level with individual problems. So,
I think an interesting thing for you that I have a lot of respect for is the drive behind it. Because if we think about in like 2020, can I talk about this?
2019.
2019,
Yeah. Okay.
when you started having like seizures and stuff,
Yeah.
like that was like a super, what's the word? Like, not inconsiderate, but a very inconvenient thing for the career you're going into, right?
Sure.
Like you can't be a
I
sheriff
would
deputy.
really say impossible.
Right.
I mean, at that point, it was like between 30 and 60 seizures a day most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'd try to get out of bed to go to class. I'm like, all right, time to go to bed. I'd half the time fall out of bed,
Right.
lay on the floor for a little while and be like, okay, I'll get up and then go to class.
Right.
I'd get up this one day. I couldn't. I had probably 60 seizures. As soon as I'd stand up, I'd fall back down. I crawled myself to the couch and I laid on the couch for 7 hours. Missed all my classes and was like, I just can't move.
Yeah.
So, if that persisted, it would have been impossible.
Correct.
So,
But what was, I guess, inspiring about that, what you were never. I'm like for you, I know it was like tough because like, well, how am I supposed to do this? But you were never like, all right, I'm just gonna give up on like, working in law enforcement and helping those people. Yeah, it was always like, okay, well, what's the alternative? I can do like this FBI work, or I can do this or that. It was never like, oh, well, I guess I'll just go back to business management. You know what I mean? It was very cool to see that it's something I have taken and done. Like, I feel like that's kind of where my, like, we'll figure it out mentality comes from. Watching you struggle with that, but you were never like, you're against this door or this wall you can't get through, and it's like, well, I'm just going to step to the side and go on this other route, to get to that goal I want, which is, I think, super cool. And just, like, as a friend, watching you go through a very hard thing, but still know that there are people out there that need you, and will rely on you one day. I don't know. It's just kind of an interesting struggle you had that you overcame. And look at you now, anyways, being a sheriff's deputy, anyways.
Doing drugs. Yeah. It's really funny because I actually attribute all of my we'll figure it out kind of mentality, like it is what it is, just the calm, to you, because I learned a lot of that during our play, which is weird. But I used to just like get really frustrated. I don't know why we get so personal and like sentimental, but I don't know. I don't do well with this. But like it just things that go wrong. Our lights getting deleted on like Wednesday of Tech Week, and you're like, we'll figure it out. Like we just sit here for another hour and do it. It's not a big deal. Like I get so frustrated with things, and I think with COVID in 2019 or 2020 already. Like, I have to go home from college. It's only my second semester. Sent home. Took a whole year off of college. I just stayed home and did it there. Like, a lot of circumstantially frustrating things. It's just like, you know what? It is what it is. We'll figure it out. And that became that catchphrase that, I tell myself today, when I get into a situation, I have no idea how to handle it. I'm like, well, figure it out, right?
Right.
Do what you can and ask questions when you need to.
Yeah.
And get it done. So, I attribute a lot of that, I guess, calmness to our experience making that play. So
and I think it's just that mentality is good. I guess
yeah,
it can be unhealthy times, but I think for the most part it's good because what's the alternative? You know what I mean?
I think the two healthiest words in the English language are "oh well."
Yeah.
Because if all you say is "oh well," you're never going to get mad about things that
Right.
don't matter.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It just for me, I find comfort in that of what like. You know what I mean? Like, what's the other?
Right.
option?
What do you do? Sit down and cry? Okay.
Yeah.
Keep her moving. Yep.
Right. Like,
Exactly.
all you can do is keep moving forward in whatever way that is.
Yeah.
Which is good. I got another thing, but I forget.
Specifically to get to my job, though, after that, I graduated
Yeah.
college. I interned at the sheriff's office here in close enough to our hometown, but more fun. And I started working there after college. So.
Well, I think that one of the things I think you're selling yourself short on is that. So you said this on one of your early podcasts. Quote
Real
me,
fan
quote
over
me.
here.
This guy knows, you know.
I know. And
Episode
actually,
3, by the way, guys.
and I think that maybe you didn't want to say this because maybe you've changed your mind, but I think how you thought, and I remember sitting at my desk because I used to listen to the podcast when I was at work, and I would sit at my desk and I was kind of battling this whole thing. This was before Honduras. I was battling this whole thing. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to do. And you had said in your podcast, you guys were talking about work or something. You said in your podcast that that you didn't want to work for a for-profit company.
Yeah.
Because there's so much more to do. There's so much more than just making money.
Right.
And I sat there and I said, well, I'm working for a for-profit company. So I said, that sucks. I said, you're right. I said, there's so much more than that.
Right.
And so kind of what I was touching on earlier, I think that's kind of a little bit to where you were saying, like, I don't want to work I want to serve a community. I want to have that.
I think there were a couple things that influenced that. First off, being that big problem of like just trafficking and like the people and so many problems with that. Wanting to help started that like I need to do more than earn money. Mm-hmm. And then I think working for a for-profit in college drove me insane. Yeah. Where you care less about your employees than you do $11.
Yeah,
for sure.
If like if you save $11 and I can't make it, you know what I mean? Like there's just the ridiculousness that comes with profit that leads to greed so quickly, and I just don't want to deal with it. Mm-hmm. So,
I think you care a lot more about, like as bosses. I think that when it's not a for-profit company, whether that be churches, the state, whatever it be.
Yeah.
I think it is. You care a lot more about your employees.
Yeah.
You care a lot more about making sure they got food on the table and not, do I have more money in my pocket? Like
pretty much my work is, if we have the money, you're working your hours. You know what I mean? Like there's no, you can't cut my hours less than 40, which is super nice. But like overtime, I mean, if they've got the money for it, you can take it. And you can earn the money you want. It's nice. And sometimes I'm sure if their budget got lower than it is, they're going to say, hey, you can't work X amount of overtime hours, blah, blah, blah. But it's never even a consideration. Like if I go to court to testify on something, I'm there for 15 minutes, I get 2 hours of overtime. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't matter a whole lot. That's your tax dollars. So if you're mad about it, I don't know.
Tax dollars don't matter.
But it's nice to not even think about that. I'm able to earn money, take care of myself and my family while doing good things. You're just never really considering, we got to cut back on hours, even if that sacrifices the safety of our community. Yeah. It's just not a consideration. So
yeah, it's interesting. I guess we all work for a nonprofit now.
Yeah.
Look at us.
What do you do, Wes?
Changing the world. Yeah, Wes, what do you...
my career's interesting, or career choice, I guess. Name a career, and I've thought about doing it. You know what I mean?
Archaeology.
Yes, I actually wanted to be an archaeologist.
Underwater welder.
I snuck out like one of those, like, you know, like the... Dude, they make bank, though.
I know, they make so much money.
But, like, archaeologist, I literally, like, as a kid, I had, like, one of the... Like, that was actually...
Like a little dinosaur egg.
Yeah. That was actually the job I wanted to do when I was a kid. That's so funny, bro.
Airplane pilot.
Who hasn't thought about doing that?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, making $200 an hour.
You're picking easy ones.
Man. A hairstylist.
Biochemical engineer.
No, maybe. All right, you're right. You caught me. Okay. But it's weird. I think I'm trying to throw myself back in time. So originally I was going to go to BGSU for media production.
What?
So did you?
No, I said should have done it.
Yeah.
What?
I was going to go for media production, which is the same thing Will went to at BGSU. It's just like a film, pretty much film degree, but more business oriented than like I'm going to go to Hollywood and make movies.
Sure.
I was going to do that for a while. I was like, okay, whatever. I was content with that. Similar, kind of like with your business stuff. I was kind of okay. That's just what I'm going to do. You know, whatever. Yeah. And then I was kind of like, I helped Will out with a few films. I was kind of like, this isn't for me. This kind of sucks. Then realized later I was just working with Will. No. Sorry. I'm just kidding.
Called out.
I realized later I just liked being in control and not the guy who like holds the camera there, who holds the light for 20 minutes. You know?
Yeah.
So I said, I don't know if that's for me. So then I thought about theater stuff. I was for a little bit I wanted to do theater education. And then Kaylee's mom, I was like having dinner at her house. She was just like, you should do like IT or something. I was like, wait a minute, yeah. Why wouldn't I do that? You know?
That makes sense.
So, because that's just something, I've always been just around computers and stuff. And
I've never met a computer nerd theater kid. Like, that's like the two different nerds that don't usually...
Don't cross over.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
a double homicide.
No one's like, I'm an IT guy who like does theater and
on
stuff.
the side, yeah.
That's weird.
I'm a freak of nature.
Yeah.
What can I say?
I guess.
So I went, and then deciding what to do then was a big mess. I thought a little bit about going to BG for some computer science degree. ONU. And then I was going to go to Franklin University. Franklin University makes it possible. Online college. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's in Columbus.
Yeah.
It's just like an online university. And they have like, I was going to do cybersecurity. They have a great cybersecurity program.
What does that job entail?
Cybersecurity?
Yeah, like what do you do?
Security.
Make sure people don't get hacked.
No, it's like for a company. There's a couple. What I wanted to do specifically was white collar hacking, which is like you would work for a company that would get contracted out to go to like let's say where we used to work, like hey, try and break into our network, and then we'd say all right, here's where your issues are. You need to fix this,
Dang.
this.
So
this.
you would do the hacking.
Right.
That's like a movie.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
What movie is? There has to be a movie.
I'm sure. So and that's like a very
there is
legitimate.
one called Hacker. It's a YouTube short film, but it's really good. It's like an hour and a half long.
I think I've seen that.
I think you watched it because I watched it. I thought it was so good. I don't know why.
That's what I want to do for a little bit. So I was gonna go to Owens Community College, get a 2-year IT degree, like 2-year IT, and then transfer to Franklin, finish the cybersecurity degree because that would save a ton of money. So then I went to college for 1 semester and said, yeah, there's no shot I'm going to do this for 4 years. So I got my associates in IT, information systems technology, actually.
Sounds like IST to me.
It is actually the IST program. And so then, actually, I owe everything to Drew's girlfriend's dad. He came out of nowhere, was like, yo, we got a spot at our company for IT. Like, we just lost a guy. If you were looking for something, I was like, well, yeah, I am. So I ended up going over there, worked there up until like 2 months ago.
How long did you work there?
Year and a half.
I didn't know that it was that long.
Yeah, I started in April of 2022 and just ended in September of this year. So about a year and a half.
Close enough.
Wow.
Which it was a great. I enjoy that job. It's a great job, especially like the IT part was cool. I learned so much there, more than I ever learned in college. And then I got a job at a school. I do IT for a school now, private high school. I've been there for like 3 weeks. It's cool. It's fun. So yeah, that's been my kind of. And then my other thing is I do. I try like 15 side businesses a week. Just this week, I went from like an IT like senior help business to reselling on eBay to wedding videography and photography.
Classic.
So, I've had 3 different businesses this week. But so yeah, my plan right now is to do the IT thing with the like wedding videography photography business on the side, which is something I already have done.
I think what he actually said is he's going to be a sheriff's deputy.
And Drew, I have thought about being a sheriff's deputy with Drew before a couple times, but that's never gonna happen.
So are you gonna film my wedding?
Absolutely, bro.
Can I get a friend discount?
Yeah.
Give me $12 and I'll do it. I got an iPhone and no experience.
Might be worth $12.
So that's what I'm doing.
Sweet.
Chilling. I just want to provide for my family.
Well, so like, tell me a little more about this IT adventures in the Catholic school, because you said you did the high school, but do they not have any IT issues for the elementary, middle school stuff, or is that someone else?
The middle schools just have like a guy who has like 4 different roles, so he does
so he's kinda like
he does the money, the IT, and the whatever, or she.
You don't know?
I only know one of them. Because they're all separate. All 4 Catholic schools in Lima are separate entities.
Oh, I didn't know that.
None of them are connected. Everything feeds into where I work, but nothing. The middle schools
They're
are all
they're all separate.
Yeah,
Things?
because they're all through.
That's really weird to me.
They're all through the parish through the church that they're connected to.
What?
Yeah. Yep.
But they're not. I thought there was like a progression. Like,
I thought it was
this one,
too.
You go to this one, you go to this one.
No. So they're all their own.
I thought it was just like
each
the
one's
city
like-
schools where if you live here, you go here, and then you do
No.
this. in
I
high
knew.
school.
I knew that you could pick, but I knew that. I thought it was like first through third is here, third and fourth is here.
Nah, they're all K through 8,
Really, and then the high schools.
and then but then everything feeds into the high school, unless you don't want to go to the high school. You know what I mean? Like it's not like
So, but do you think that's only because sorry to interrupt, but do you think that's only because there's only one Catholic high school?
Yeah.
Or are they like under contract to say, hey,
No,
we're sending
it
our
just-
kids?
because you can
Which is how it
pick
is.
wherever you want to go. Like an Elida kid could go to LCC.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, no, I knew. Sorry, no, I knew that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything they feed into to where I work because it's the only high school, like Catholic high school.
I'm gonna start a Catholic high school.
That's what I'm
do the
saying. I feel
competition.
like,
There's no money in it. Don't
It's
do
gonna
it.
be called.
what do you mean there's no money and you pay $10,000 a year to go there?
Yeah, but how much does the state give per? Like, you know what I mean? Like
like 8?
everything that we had is only through that. You know what I mean?
I feel like,
Like
you
it's
do a lot
only
of-
through the tuition.
I mean, you have how many kids do you got?
200.
200. So what's that?
Wow, that's not very
250.
big.
No,
250 for all 4, or 250 a class?
for the high school,
No,
less than that probably.
no.
Yeah,
You're telling-
Kaylee graduated with 60.
Kaylee, I didn't know Kaylee graduated with me. So
Yeah,
you're
it's
telling me
240. I mean,
that's
So it's
240.
pretty small. Supposedly the middle schools are bigger, so we're gonna get more. But like Haley's grandma graduated with like
That's-
120. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's used to be bigger. It's gotten smaller.
$2.4 million a
No, it's
year
not.
in tuition.
10
10 times
thousand.
240 is $2.4 million a year.
But okay, but think
in
about this.
tuition. Dude, just in tuition, you're not getting any state help. You're not
You
getting any
don't get
grants.
state
you're not-
That's what I'm saying.
As
It's
a
a private
private
school.
Oh, you don't get nothing?
No.
No,
Oh,
I mean
yes,
we can
that's-
get we can apply for a grant or whatever. Like we just got a technology grant to get some new equipment.
I guess honestly, $2.4 million is not going very far.
No,
Now
because
that
think
you
about
it. Think
every
about
What do you actually
every
have to
salary.
pay
you
in the
have to
kids?
pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we get like people donate to the school, so like
Yeah.
it's not just tuition, but like it's not like the state's funding us. You know what I mean?
I guess that makes sense.
And think about what there's. Yeah, I mean it's pretty. Yeah, but it's good because like you were saying, working for like a nonprofit is nice. And I'm working with like high schoolers, like every day. You know, it's kind of cool.
They bully you.
They
It's
do.
okay.
They rated my outfit at 3.5 one day. So
Wait, so slow down. That's where I was also confused. So do you have like a room?
yeah.
And like it's like your
So I have like an office, and then I also every period, not every period, but most periods I have like 2 or 3 kids in there that technically it's a class, like they're graded, but it's just like they help me out. And
Wes
I
gives
teach
them an
stuff.
A if they say his outfit's a 4.
Yeah.
So
Wait,
I-
slow down.
and I,
You
like, teach them things.
classes?
It's not like here's a lecture. It's like, hey, this teacher's having an issue with their laptop. Here's what you gotta tell you what to do to fix
But
it.
is it a class?
I mean, they're graded.
But I
it
understand,
counts
but,
as like credit
but,
hours.
does it count as credit for a high school degree?
I don't know. I think
they
it
have
does.
to.
Or is
Like
it
one.
a special? It has to.
It'd have to be
One
like at least like
hour,
a
one credit.
study out. Like
It's
a,
pretty-
You know,
Yeah,
Is that
I
how
think
high
it does,
schools
but
work?
it's pretty. I don't know how they
they
work.
have credit hours. Yeah.
Do they have credit hours, or is it just like you need one
It-
class?
well,
of
it's like-
this, you need one class of this. Because like for our high school, I didn't need I never. Oh,
Yeah,
well,
you
shoot.
just need like
I took
you
I took
need
a computer
3 sciences.
computer
yeah.
science class though, like a computer like.
Well, we also
computer
have
and all that
a
stuff.
we also have a computer science class, not
So
taught
what the
by
heck
me.
are you?
I'm the IT guy.
So you just have helpers.
Yeah,
They just put
It's like
they
their
put
study
kids
hall.
in the closet with Wes, and they
It's
say,
annoying kids.
"You
They're
legally
giving me
have to
terrible
be in
kids.
school. Sit with him."
yeah, pretty much. Because on
Yeah,
the day,
but
like
that's-
you know what I mean, it's just kind of like some days, most days they're just sitting in there because
You
there's
just
not
like tell
anything
them
going
jokes or anything. You got a captive audience.
We talk.
I mean, they
on.
have
We talk.
to laugh.
Some of them talk to me, some of them don't.
Yeah, but I also
What do
feel
you-
like the
okay.
kids that are going to be interested in IT are not going to be the most
Think about this
like,
though.
funny kids.
Okay,
No shade at IT kids.
shaded IT kids. I don't care. If there's 2 people in a classroom and a teacher, right? And your teacher's like, "Hey, how you doing?" Whatever, and you're just like,
No, they're. I could
You're not
talk.
gonna
Coding.
talk.
They're coding. They're
Like-
too busy.
I could talk. I just don't talk to them.
Oh.
That's the other.
Whoa, you're a problem.
There, no.
"Hey, I'm gonna teach this class. Let me just sit on my own."
If there's
computer."
something to do,
So what do you say a lot? Like 9 times out of 10, are you saying like, "Hey, do your homework and I'll let you know"?
9 times out of 10 it's the study hall. 9 times out of 10 they come in
They
and
just
like
get on
we're like,
YouTube
yo, what's
and-
up, what's going on, and we talk for a minute, and then they just
you know
doing
what study
whatever.
hall
Can
means? Time for YouTube.
yeah.
That's a-
Can you do most of your work like from your office, or are you running around? Like, 'cause I remember where we used to work, like I would call you and you'd have to come down to my office. Like, it wasn't
I
very often
hate-
that you.
Doing stuff remotely.
From what?
Remotely. So I'd rather go to your office. You know what I mean? So like when a teacher calls me, it's not like where I used to work where they're 2 hours away. You know what I mean? Like I'm just gonna walk the 1 minute to your classroom and fix your issue. I'm never gonna remote into a computer when I'm
What's the
there.
most common issue?
No
not
Wi-Fi.
turning it on and off again.
No Wi-Fi.
At the school, yeah. Then we have really bad Wi-Fi. It keeps going out. Someone need to fix it. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you fix that, or is that above your pay grade?
There's nothing above my pay grade because I'm the only IT guy.
Well, like the
other than buying
Wi-Fi
new
companies
Wi-Fi.
above, yeah.
Or like what's the
I don't know. I need to figure it out. That's the thing.
work in progress?
Yeah. It's something I'm working on. Trying to figure out what to do. It's interesting, yeah. working for a nonprofit school. Yeah, like there's like 2 kids who are like super cool and we get along well, and so I teach them more than the other kids. No,
Nice.
I'm kidding.
So like, what's your Could you say? I feel like you casually say working for a nonprofit's cool. Like what if you got offered a job at what if you got offered a similar job to before, but you make $15,000 more? Like what's your it's cool, but like it's also I'm paying for my family, or it's cool and like I morally think that like I want to serve a community rather than make money.
I want to serve a community rather than make money, but I will make money.
So Wes is saying working for a nonprofit is cool because it fits the topic.
Because everyone else.
Wes is like, I'm here working for.
Well, yeah. Well, it's interesting in my career, right? In my field,
Yeah.
it's not like
It's not really a nonprofit field.
Right. It's not like either of your careers where the only option is sort of this. Like, I feel like you kind of like in my career, I could say I'm gonna go to this company that pays me $100,000 a year. You know.
Sure.
I could do
You
that.
do the same
right.
job, yeah.
For you guys, and this is a good thing. It's like, well,
Yeah,
I'm gonna work at a police station, or I'm gonna work in this like. You could go to the private sector, but like I don't know, is there a reason to?
I mean, I could go to Dublin. They'll pay me $96,000 a year.
Right.
And my taxes will be about 45% of that.
Right.
But.
While also, and you guys have a much like in IT, and how am I affecting the community that much?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean,
as much as I can, but it's not like
with the kids, like
right.
But
But you're actually teaching kids, and you're actually like a lot more hands on than I am, which is cool. And I wish I had that more than I do. I'd love to teach some classes.
So if you could do it all over again, would you stay in IT? I guess that's a loaded question. You could think about it first.
Maybe. I would consider doing media stuff again.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like you're still kind of doing that. Like you're still.
Yeah.
Shit,
Well,
we're
that's
recording
what
a
my
podcast right now.
solution has been. Doing a job that is going to make me decent money. Well, I can also I like my job. You know, I like doing stuff with computers. I find fulfillment in it, but also I do other things like theater or film stuff that I also find a lot of fulfillment in and really enjoy doing. Like youth theater at Encore is one of the most fulfilling things to me. You know what I mean? Like I love doing that because of the kids and the connection and seeing them grow and having a positive influence on their life is awesome. You know, that is one of the greatest things I feel like that I can do. You know, so I do that to find some fulfillment that I might.
And I think
find in
that's
my
how
job.
most people are. Like your job's your job and your life's your life.
Yeah.
And those are both okay.
I think that's where I never wanted to be, though.
Yeah.
Like I never wanted my job to be my job, my life to be. Like
Sure.
I talked to a guy that, good friend of mine that I actually I think he's how he orients his life is very good. He just got married, and like I look up to a lot of the things he says. But one of the things he said to me was that, which is one of the things like I don't agree with, where he said, because I was telling him I was like, yeah, I'm thinking about going into ministry. Like I love doing this, blah blah, and like I'm pretty much saying to heck with this money thing, because like great, I could do it and I could buy and sell products and I can do all that stuff, but like that's not that I don't see a eternal kingdom work in that pretty much. And I was like, I'm not for that. And he pretty much looked at me and said, well, that's great that you want to do that, but also just remember that like you don't have to like your job. Like you can just do your job and like learn to just work for 40 hours and get a paycheck and then learn to enjoy other parts of your life. And I said that's a very like good perspective for someone stuck in a career that they don't like,
Sure.
that like, they don't have any other option. When
Yeah.
I'm looking at the world as my oyster and saying, what do I want to do? And saying, nah, I could be an underwater welder and make $1 million and hate my life.
And I think it's like if we were in a recession or depression where like you can't get a job and like whatever you do is like you're just sure, it's a good outlook. You don't have to like it. You work and whatever job you have, you get good. We're not in that. I mean, right now you can do whatever you want. And you should do a job you enjoy because there's probably one you will enjoy.
And I think there's a time and a place, like you were saying. I think there's a time for a job you don't like.
Sure.
Like I think that it's unrealistic that your first job you think that you're gonna love. I think that one of the best things that we can do for our younger generation is make them work for minimum wage.
Yeah.
Like I think that everyone I've ever met that has not gone through the fast food restaurant, like where your manager's doing like lines in the bathroom and it's like
Right.
like wild stuff, and you're like, what is going on? And you're like, well, I don't want to end up like them. Like that's crazy. And you're like, oh well, yeah, well they've worked in fast food for 20 years. Like I'd probably be doing the same thing. Like it's
Yeah.
terrible, and they're making $10 an hour for the past 30
Right.
years, and it's like, well, yeah, well let's not be there. So let's
Right.
go have ambition and have these things. But I don't think that ambition should cloud your moral perspective
Yeah.
of
Sure.
what you want to do, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
I worked at a cafeteria at the college in our town, and I hated that job simply.
Yeah.
Like I worked there for like maybe 4 months, and I only worked 2 days a week for 4 hours.
Well, that's the
Like,
first problem.
I
You're
mean-
working 8 hours.
Huh?
How can you really even know the place? You only work there 8 hours a week.
Yeah,
You're-
I know, but you would know it because you did nothing. Anyway,
Terrible.
I was like going to college, doing high school, playing soccer, and working at 16.
It's a lot.
So I was busy, but I hated being there, and I was like, I'm gonna go. I mean, it's probably half the reason I went to college. I'm like, I don't want to work here.
That's what my
So,
parents told me.
and I mean, it's not like in a judgmental way. Like I don't have any prejudice towards people who do, but it was a very good like. If I hate this job, I have to do something else.
Yep.
If you
Yeah.
like that job, that's fine. But if you hate it, do something else.
I mean, there are people that love it. I think that
Sure.
shoot, when I worked at Dunkin' Donuts, I mean,
Yeah.
I was 16, working 40 hours a week, going to school. I mean, I would literally work 4 to 10 Monday through Friday, and then work on Saturdays. So I'd get up to my 40 hours.
Yeah.
And it was terrible. Well, I did that as a shift manager there, and my assistant manager had been working for a Dunkin' Donuts for like literally years, and she loved it. Like she
Yeah.
wanted nothing. And I mean, she didn't need any other job. She had a family. She had her
Right.
husband was working at a factory, and like he was making plenty of money, and she loved what she did. And
Yeah.
and I think that if you're content, if you find fulfillment there, that's where I said that your like your ambition shouldn't outcloud your moral judgment. Like
Sure.
if she feels like she's being fulfilled, that they're serving the community, whether that be with coffee or good service or whatever you want to call it, then I think that she's correct. She should stay there. Like I think
Sure.
that that's where she's there. But I think that there should also be some sort of ambition to say that if you feel like you're made for more,
Yeah.
not just more financially. Hear me wisely. Not just more financially, but more of an impact. More of a like if I'm saying I want to impact kids, right? I'm
Yeah.
not going to do that at a coffee shop.
Sure.
Not that one's greater than the other. There shouldn't be a moral high ground or like a holier than thou vibe, but
Right.
I think that your own individual ambition
Yeah.
should reflect your skills and your attributes. If that makes any sense.
Absolutely. I think for me, the thing I love about my job, about IT, in the past role and in this role, is helping people. Right.
Yeah.
I'm a huge people pleaser, and nothing makes me happier than walking into the room. You have this issue that is like ruining your day. Right.
Yeah.
Like you cannot do anything. Right. Like you feel like my life. This is so bad. Like especially at where I used to work, where you're in like a retail store, right? So like things can literally like we can't make money right now. Like the workers of the store feel terrible, whatever. I can come in, I can say, oh yeah, I got you, I'll fix it for you, and like they're so grateful, like you just changed my life pretty much. It's like the
Right.
greatest feeling ever, and
Yeah.
I love that
Right.
about my job. The other thing about my job, when I think about my life and what I want is to have a family, right? To have kids and a wife and to love my kids, right? And my wife.
That was a boy. Remember, he has a wife.
I do indeed have one. And I don't want to be one of those dads that's like, hey, I got to work 6 jobs just to support my family. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that because I think that would negatively affect my kids. But what I like about my job is that we want to homeschool, right? In order to do that, I got to make enough money that I can support me, my wife, and a couple kids.
Like
And-
9. but
maybe 8 or 10.
okay,
10, 11, 12, 13. And so that's what I like about my career. The path I'm in is I find fulfillment in it, right? And supporting people and making their days better and like just like that is great. And I feel great. I like doing what I do, and then I make decent money, so I can come home and love my kids and my wife, and I don't know. That's what I think that's part of the reason I chose the path I chose is for like if I truly what I feel more fulfilled like doing theater. Honestly, yeah, like working like for a youth theater program or something like that. I think that'd be more fulfilling for me. But
Sure.
what's more fulfilling than that is loving my family
Sure.
and creating a family that loves God and all that stuff. That's more important to me. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's kind of like what's more important. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
No, for sure.
weighing all those pros and cons is always a tough.
Yeah.
Tough thing.
And you're lucky enough to fit theater as a hobby that is fulfilling. You
Right.
get your summer programs with a friend of ours
Yeah.
with the kids, and like,
Absolutely.
get to do shows, directing a show, and writing a show next year. Like,
Oh, that's
So-
in the transition from, working with a bunch of adults to transitioning
Yeah.
to a high school. Now I'm impacting kids more because that's. I agree with you. Like that is something that I have always loved is impacting like the younger generation, especially like our work camp that we've done a couple times
Yeah.
with our friend, the youth theater work camp. Like I'm impacting kids a lot of times that come from a pretty bad home life,
Yep.
and to be able to positively impact them is like the greatest feeling in the world,
right.
to give them like a positive influence in the world. I don't know. That is a great feeling.
Yeah, and I think that the next generation, the younger kids, I think we are suffering from a lack of just presence. In all honesty, I mean, we have I think have enough room to talk about it since I work with young kids all day long. But I think that there's a very clear difference between even when like parents drop off and things like that, or talking to kids, a very clear difference between the parents that care and that are present with their kids and that you're like you said don't work 70 hours a week just to do things, or don't work 70 hours a week not because to pay the bills but because
Right.
I want to more.
I want to make more money. I want
more.
a bigger house. Yeah.
So like those types of things. I mean, there's an obvious significant difference between the development of a child emotionally and even spiritually, whether their parents are present or not. And I think that since we have so many parents that aren't present, us being strong presence in their lives, I mean, completely changes everything. I mean, we have a generation that will grow up without that presence. I think we can be in pretty rough waters, and that's I think that where I'm putting my job to combat that. And all the kids that don't have that presence, Drew's gonna go rest. So I think
There we go.
Yeah,
We kind of have a good circle going
we
on.
got a little
We
bang.
did. Yep.
Yeah, I think
young school, high school, me.
And I think
in trouble.
If you get to Drew,
if you get to Drew, there's some issues. Hopefully,
We didn't do our job well enough.
Yeah, hopefully we'll knock them around a little bit and get them where they need to be. I think that there is a big connection from like presence and technology.
oh for
I am-
sure. Listen, you are like everyone's biggest enemy.
Oh,
In all
I
honesty.
am personally really against like technology in schools.
Whoa.
So I don't.
You're putting
Wes
yourself
is
out of a
actually
job
breaking
right now.
all of the technology in the school
Yeah,
to
why do
keep his
you think we have
job.
so many bad
We
ones?
just said ambition should not cloud your moral compass. It's clouded.
I really think
No moral compass. Nonprofit. Check the box. Let's go.
I think like technology is good, right?
Yeah.
But too much is really really bad.
Well, I think it depends where you are cognitively too. I think that we run a preschool, right? So
Yeah.
we have rules about like there's no, I mean, state law that there's no technology on when like you're eating, or when like state law in a preschool I'm not allowed to have a TV on while students are eating and stuff like that, or like there's other rules, or when we have these things where teachers would think it's okay that, oh well, we have like 20 minutes and I don't really feel like throwing a lesson together, I'm going to throw on a Blue's Clues.
Yeah.
Well, Is that really good for our kids to be stuck at a screen all day, or should we be more interactive and should we do those things? So I think that lazy teachers and lazy parents use technology as a scapegoat. That doesn't do anyone a favor.
And what I think too is that's another reason, that for me goes into sort of my career path, right? In order to create a home life that I think my kids will grow up and that's good and very good, is to give my wife the ability to work, to stay at home. You know what I mean? Which is something that Kaylee really wants to do. So I'm not saying like, if both spouses work, like you have a terrible home life. Like obviously that's not true at all. And I would love it if Kaylee wanted to work because that's like double income. You know what I mean? But when she doesn't, she wants to be a stay-at-home mom. I know that's going to have a great, that's just going to be another great impact on my kids because there'll be a present parent there, and to guide them and to be with them and to not be like, hey, we're both getting ready in the morning. Just throw on a TV show real fast. Like, we just got to get ready to go to work, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It's so easy to slip into, like, throw on the TV babysitter real fast for an hour while we're getting ready for something. And
it's the easiest.
It is so, and that's what's hard. It's like a slippery slope. It's like you starting like, wait, my kid's not screaming and crying, or my kid's like not
take a breath,
going crazy. Like this is awesome. So I just think it's tough. But obviously I don't have kids, so
Shoot. Yeah, and I think that having, whether or not it be because it's a nonprofit or because you want your wife to stay home or because you hate technology in schools or whatever you feel fulfilled by, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that the best thing that you can do is you feel fulfilled by. It's not that me and Drew say, oh yeah, you're doing a good job, or your parents say it's a good thing, or whoever, right? Maybe your wife, that's probably important. But like those things, I think that there's not, maybe not a, I don't think there has to be a approval other than like you. Like I think it's a between you and God thing. I think that when you feel like God's pushing you to something, then I think that's where you should lay.
Absolutely. I can get behind that. Drew, any thoughts?
That's all.
Cool. Well, we're about an hour or so.
Yeah. All right. Well, good talking. We'll have you back if it doesn't take 22 weeks to get you here.
Well, shoot. Sign me up.
Thanks for coming.
I got tons of things to talk about. I could talk about it all day.
Yeah, let's do it again.
Alrighty.
Thanks for watching.
Yep.
Thank you.
Leave some comments what we should talk about if you enjoyed today's episode. Give us thumbs up if you want Nate to come back.
And if you don't, give us thumbs down.
No, give us thumbs up if you don't want him to come back too.
Double thumbs up.
All right.
Cancel each other out.
Thanks for listening. Bye.